unfortunately, this wasn't a good film. It just wasn't. It was boring. It was dull. No character development. No character, period. No story, really. No stakes. No sort of anything that would cause me to be invested in what was going on. At no point did I fear for John Abraham. And not even because he was like too overpowered or anything. Just nothing went on that was genuinely intriguing, genuinely interesting. It looked beautiful though. It genuinely looked amazing. I thought the cinematography was top notch. I thought the camera work was top notch, and just in terms of shot selection and things like that. Very well done, at least on that part. The production design looked good as well. Costume design. I mean, a lot of the technical aspects of this film were very well done. Rosie was a way better film than this. I mean, tremendously better. I mean, it's night and day. Rosie looks like one of the best films of all time compared to this film. And it's pretty sad because I was expecting way more. I was expecting so much more. I mean, John Abraham being under disguise in 3 different things, and none of that was being utilized properly, or utilized at all, really. I mean, you don't really find out about his third identity until the very, 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 very end, where they just shoehorn a bunch of information to try to make the story seem appealing. I mean, it tried to be complex and incorporate all these different angles, but at no point did the film ever stop and settle down and relax and say, okay, let's actually be with these characters. Let's live with them for a minute. Let's see what's going on in John Abraham's mind. Is he struggling with this? Does he want to be this agent? At no point do you get any of that. You just assume, hey, this is just the way it is. That's the way it's gonna be, and you know, whatever. And there was no, all the stakes that were in there. You know, the moments of suspense were all false and just ridiculously over the top. I mean, he starts with him working at this hotel when he first goes into Pakistan, and you know, he's like in some guy's hotel room, and there's literally a moment where he hides behind the door, and which is fine. Don't get me wrong, that's cool. But where he goes out and then he breathes a sigh of relief. I mean, is a raw agent, is this deep cover agent really gonna breathe this sigh of relief when he's been trained for moments just like that? I mean, I would probably do that because I'm not a raw agent. I'm not some fucking trained dude. I mean, speaking of training, you get a few shots of him doing some combat stuff. I mean, but you don't get any training. Oh, he shoots at a target. The first time you see it, it's all over the place. The next time you see it, it's perfect. Oh, wow. That's a lot of training, man. Again, something that Rosie did very well. Alia Bhatt, I believed she was able to do all these things because the filmmakers made her spend 25-30 minutes going through these training exercises where you have this overbearing dude at the top who's just constantly making sure that Alia Bhatt's on her toes. You don't get that here. You just make that assumption that he's that good, but then he never really puts himself in situations that he really needs to be utilized. And so I wasn't expecting a Jason Bourne film or something like that where he was going to be this super badass top secret agent killing everybody and doing all these things. But I expected something to happen. I mean, nothing happened in this film, unfortunately. I mean, literally nothing. The only part I genuinely felt any sort of emotional response to it was at the end when he actually bombs Badlapur. But that gets freaking completely retconned because then you find out that the city was clear, or the town, village, whatever you want to call it, was cleared out, which I was kind of expecting, but I hoped maybe that's not the case. Genuinely curious to hear what you guys have to say about it. I'm expecting it to bomb, but you know what? Every film that I think's gonna do bad does amazingly well. KGF. And then the movies that I love don't do well at all. Super Deluxe, Soncheria. I mean, there's these films that have been released this year, Indian films that are just being ignored, that are fucking genuinely amazingly good, and this is not one of them. No offense, John Abraham, I enjoy you as an actor, but I mean, a lot of these choices in this film are not your fault, but just don't make any sense. I mean, when you're first introduced to him, he's this, looks like this middle-aged man with scarring on his face and with this weird hairstyle. I mean, it's not really weird, but weird compared to his other visual cues. Now, I understand that's supposed to be, you know, this, you're supposed to separate it, and it's to show you how much he changed, but I mean, he looked completely different without any prosthetics. It almost looked like his normal self was full of prosthetics, and then when he became the second one, when he became Akbar, when he had that, he looked like John Abraham that we know, but it didn't fit at all. It didn't even feel like they were remotely the same person. which I know is the point, but... And then you have this weird bit with the weird love story, which makes no sense, and then it gets forgotten about once she gets arrested, and she just disappears, I guess, whatever. I mean, I guess it's for the country, that's why it happened, but I don't know. I don't even know why it was there, because it didn't really add anything to it. When you find out she's back in Pakistan, like, that's the moment when you're supposed to, like, be intrigued, but they didn't do anything with it at all. When you first see Romeo, he has the old man makeup on. Don't really explain why. I don't get that. I don't know. Genuinely, a very, very, very boring film. That's the worst thing you could probably say about any movie, is that it was boring. It didn't hold my attention. It honestly just wasn't interesting. And it could have been, because I was intrigued by the subject matter. I was intrigued by what was going on in the trailer, enough to come out and watch this opening day. And so, like I said, huge letdown in my opinion. And it definitely is one of the worst movies of the year. And as much as I hated a film like Badla, at least Badla was entertaining. At least they were trying to do something. I mean, all the plot twists aside and all that stuff, Badla is an amazing film compared to this one. I mean, if you haven't guessed, my rating's going to be low. Honestly, it's like a 0 out of 10. I'll never watch this film again. I don't want to tell you not to go watch it, but if you want to watch a movie this weekend and you don't know what else to watch Shazam, watch Super Deluxe. Those are my 2 picks of the week for this week. I mean, Shazam's an amazing fucking film. It's a pretty damn good comic book movie and just a good damn movie in general. And Super Deluxe, you've already heard my review, and if you haven't, you could check it out. I fucking love that film. The best Indian film this year so far, and it's gonna be tough to overtake it. I genuinely love that film. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this movie. Did you guys even see it? Were you interested at all? What do you think that the trailer was interesting, or was I crazy from the beginning? Let me know in the comments. I'm always curious to know what you guys have to say, because, like I said, this was a big letdown for me. I was really looking forward to this film, and it's unfortunate that it didn't live up to anything. I mean, genuinely did not live up to anything. At no point in the film was I excited. Did I get involved with the character? Even when they were chasing Romeo, I was like, fuck, man, when's this movie gonna be over? I just don't care. That's the problem. Because you have no character development, because you have no anything, I just don't care. And that's a big, big problem with a film like this. You can't have a film like this and then not care about any of the characters, especially your fucking lead. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it. If you like what I had to say, let me know in the comments and share this with your friends. If you didn't like what I had to say, hit the dislike button and also let me know in the comments, because I'm always curious to know. But at the end of the day, this movie fucking sucked, and I'm really, 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 really tired of crappy pieces of shit like this. And I ultimately just wish that this movie would have somewhat lived up to its expectations by me. Obviously, I'm not God or anything like that by any stretch of the imagination, but it should have been way better than what it was, and I'm pretty disappointed that it wasn't. But if you like this video, go ahead and check out any of our other videos that we have on the screen that YouTube's recommending right now. But for right now, that'll do it, guys. Have a good weekend.